for most of us, the mind associates the visual content very strongly with something outside. And so this part of the exploration is fairly important so that you can have the direct realization that the visual content is also happening in the same space of awareness. The opportunity here in this first step, which is to recognize that you are that space, you are that awareness, you are that in which all the content is occurring. So you are not defined by or limited by any of the content. So I'm using this metaphor of a house and the furnishings of the house. So there is a there is a thing that happens which we call identification, in which we become attached or identified with the contents, and we say, "Oh, this is me. This is my body, my personality, my relationships, my way of being in the world, my problems." And that identification, so long as we cling to it, can greatly limit our ability to successfully remake our lives. So this first step is to recognize I'm none of that. I never have been. I'm that I'm the source and the creator of my life, and that my life is occurring within me, within the awareness, within the space that I am. So this is very important, and it points out this first principle that I want to point out, which is a very important one, which is it's the law of cause and effect. So all effects have causes, and the cause is always within. So here I'm just saying within, meaning that which is within consciousness, within space, which is to say everything. But if we play this game in mind and we say there's an inside and there's an outside, then it's very important to understand that what we're calling the outside is just the downstream effect of the cause. And that cause is what we set into motion through our inner reality. So if you are fixated on the outside, which most people are trained to be, then it greatly reduces your efficacy in making the changes that you want to make in your life. So it's really, really helpful to be able to understand or at least accept that you create your reality from the inside out. So what that means is if you're like most of us are conditioned to do, if you're trying to figure out what steps you're going to take on the outside, you know, what phone calls you should make, what courses you should sign up for, what job applications you should submit, what text you should send, what way you should say the thing that you want to say in order to get the result that you want to get. All of that is what's actually just called manipulation. And I refer to that as rearranging the furniture. So using this metaphor of the house, again, if you have your house already furnished and you say, "Oh, I'm going to make some change," and you just rearrange the furniture, you haven't actually made any real substantial change. You've just rearranged the furniture, but you can temporarily produce the illusion for yourself that you have produced change, but it's totally illusory. And so this focus on the outer stuff, the outer actions, is what I call rearranging the furniture. It gives the illusion of producing change, but fundamentally no change is made because the causes that set into motion the real change have not changed. In order to get the real change, you have to change the causes, which have to do with what you're thinking, believing, perceiving, feeling. Okay, so it's all of this inner stuff. It's all the stuff that most people try desperately to avoid by busying themselves with rearranging the furniture. You know, it's like the house is falling down upon them, and they're saying, "Oh, isn't it great that everything's so new and so clean and so fresh because they've put a new coat of paint on the wall." It's only when finally, for most of us, it's only when things are really dire, when it's like the roof has actually finally caved in and it's pinning us down, that we finally say, "Okay, I've got to do something different." But unfortunately, oftentimes, even then, people fail to do anything different. So what I'm offering you here is the steps so that you can actually do something different. So again, step one is to recognize that you are that infinite, eternal, continuous space of awareness, of consciousness in which all of this is occurring. So you are not limited by or identified with any of the stuff. You don't have to have any attachment to any of the content. You are free to make the changes. And this might seem easier said than done, but it just is with all things, it requires practice. So just practice it regularly every day. You don't have to take hours and hours. You don't have to sit in, with your, fingers in a certain mudra and, whatever and, om for 2 hours a day. How about just every day just for a few minutes, just offer yourself this direct recognition. Just pause, let go, and then just notice that all of the content is coming and going in the space of awareness that you are. Just notice that directly. Doing that more frequently is more powerful than doing it for longer durations. Longer duration will come naturally later on, but do it more frequently in order to get better results. So do it at least once a day for good results. If you want even better results, do it 2 or 3 times a day. But again, not for hours, just for a few minutes, even for a few seconds, will start to set into motion positive changes in your life.